So let's talk about RX versus scaled and the importance of logging your workouts and logging them accurately, right? But first, what is RX? RX is a term that's unique to CrossFit in that you are performing a workout exactly the way that it's written. Now, for some, this is an accomplishment. When you're able to do workouts RX, it's no longer can I do this, it is how well can I do this or how fast can I do this. And then for others, for those of us that maybe have been doing CrossFit for a long time, RX is here's what you are going to do. The weights, the reps, everything is predetermined for you. So it's important to make sure that we're logging this accurately as opposed to just throwing some numbers in there. Because when we look back at workouts, for example, when we do a benchmark workout, we want to make sure that we're doing it or we're logging it. So when we look back, we're going to see did we do it RX or did we do it scaled? And we're going to leave notes for ourselves as to what exactly we changed so that when we repeat it, we can try again to go either faster or maybe a little bit heavier to see some progress. When logging your workouts, we'll simply hit log and then you'll enter any information that we need for the workout. So for this one specifically, rounds and reps. Now, if the deadlifts in this workout were in fact 185 pounds for me and I ran the total distance and everything that's written in there, I'll leave the RX button selected here at the bottom. Now, if I made any changes at all, whether I went with a lighter deadlift or even a heavier deadlift, or maybe I did a shorter distance or a longer distance, or sometimes if I just decide I don't want to run, I would rather row today. That is technically a scale. If doing the workout scaled, make sure that you put notes in the notes box just so that when you look back or when coaches look at it, we can tell what weight you did, what it is that you changed, whether it's distance or reps, so we have some accurate data to look back to. So for example, I could put 155-pound deadlifts and bike. And then I would hit save. So I said accurate data a couple times. Why does that really matter? Well, with Delaware Fit Factory, with CrossFit, what we're trying to do is get better every day. And we can't decide whether or not we're getting better just going off of feel, right? We need a lot of accurate data points. We track weight, we track our body fat percentage. We also track our heavy barbells. So it makes sense for us to also accurately record all of our workouts, whether that means how many reps we did, what the weight was on the bar, or the division that we're logging our workouts in, whether that would be RX or scaled. And then finally, something that is near and dear to a lot of CrossFitters is just the overall culture that is CrossFit. RX is a term that is unique to CrossFit, and it includes things like movement standards, specific weights and reps, and there are benchmark workouts. There's a competitive, a sports side to it, and it calls for honesty and integrity from the community of CrossFit. So when we're not logging accurately, or maybe we're not doing the reps or the weight that we're supposed to, but we want to show that we're in the RX group, it's really kind of degrading the culture of CrossFit and the community that we built with inaccurately reporting our results and not being as honest and as thorough and as thoughtful as we could be. So what are some of those movement standards? Well, one of the movements that we do in CrossFit a lot is toes to bar. So for example, if we are not getting our toes to contact the bar, that is one of a few of the movement standards for the toes to bar, then it should be marked as scaled. If you're getting close to bar, check the scaled button and then put in the notes that you were getting your toes close. So for example, these reps are good. These reps are not so good. I'm getting really close, but I'm not quite getting there, right? Now, if it's a limitation, that's okay. That is a scale that we can do to one day get better so that we can do the full toes to bar. And then that would be one of those victories, one of those bright spots. You could click the RX button on a toes to bar workout one day. Same thing with squats. We have a movement standard of getting your hip crease below the top of your knee for squats. If there's a physical limitation, that's fine. We still want you to squat, but let's go ahead and mark that as scaled if you have to limit your range of motion or squat to a box, for example. So if we're doing thrusters, we're going to squat all the way down and then press the bar all the way up overhead. every single rep, right? And then last but not least, something that a lot of us bros really compete with each other on: the weights on the barbell. If a workout calls for a very specific set of weights and you do not do that weight, that's fine, right? We all have our limitations. Anybody that knows me knows that heavier weights are tough. Now, the gymnastics stuff, I can do that all day, but heavy barbells are tough for me. If you are one like me, if you struggle with those heavy barbells, that's okay. Do what you can do and just mark it as scaled. And you'll get better, you'll get stronger, and then one day you'll be able to check that RX button for those heavy barbell workouts. So when you're logging your workout, make sure you do so accurately and honestly. Otherwise, what's the point, right? If we're not keeping track of accurate data, then we're not going to have accurate results, which is what we're all chasing, right? We want to be better every day.